welcome to Inside ArteriA, the fourth episode of Inside ArteriA, and we are here with our first male artist, and what an artist and what a man. Darren Singer, please introduce to us.
I'm Darren. Pleasure to meet you all. From Brooklyn, New York, and it's quite a pleasure to be here. It's quite an inspiration to be here, both in the gallery itself as well as the city. It's timeless. This is a city that's been around for thousands of years and has inspired artists and individuals for, way beyond its context. And I feel like it's a city that's also kind of coming into its own in terms of the within the visual arts that it probably hasn't seen in a long time, and I think that's to be part of that growth opportunity is an amazing.
And you've been here doing an art residency in ArteriA, and we are very pleased with your presence here. It's like having, I don't know, not a god, I wouldn't say that, but almost, like with your energy very high. We will talk about energy in a moment, but we are sitting in front of your artworks. So what are these artworks that you produce in ArteriA, meaning what they say?
I think a lot of my work is very contextual about its environment, and something that I really focus on. Every place has an energy to it, and to be able to kind of capture that, the essence of a time and a place at a specific moment, but yet at the same time there's an ephemeral quality, something that's constantly changing, but then there's also something that's timeless. Some of the work that you'll see here kind of echoes that. There's a certain, where it's just a moment where you feel it's definitely Barcelona. This is something that has the energy and the spirit of, it's the light, it's the energy, it's the people. When I kind of enter a city or where I enter a space, whether it be an interior or an exterior, it's not just about, I'm trying to describe what's happening on Calle, whatever it is, the street, but it's what's the energy that's happening on that street? What's drawing me to that image? What's drawing me to that time? Hopefully that people could feel the intent, which is really the most important part, I feel like, in my work, is the intent which I'm bringing to the work.
Since you're mentioning energy and interior, exterior, can you tell us more of? Also, I'm curious about the difference in your art between the painting that you created in here in the city, so the energy that they have compared to those that you created in New York. Can you tell us more?
I've definitely noticed that my work here, the palette is really is different than something, let's say, that I've done in New York, because I feel like Barcelona is really a Mediterranean. There's a certain energy of the ocean, of the light, and things that kind of happen here. And the people are very different here. It's a different culture. And I think that kind of comes across in the spaces that are here. That also being said, someone like a Gaudi or the other artisans that have worked here in the past, the architecture that's here provides a very different feel from a New York City type of environment, like an inner city grit per se. And I feel like the pigeons kind of, for me, represent an ephemeral quality. They're here, they're gone, they're flapping, they're here. There's a constant movement that's happening, with these kind of omnipresent pigeons that are everywhere in Barcelona. And
really believe in helping each others and putting in the universe good energy always, constantly, but we feel like you are mirroring us in this sense, and we are curious to know, like, what's kindness to you, like how important is kindness in your work, in your life?
I feel like the work should be very inviting, and I feel like, in terms of myself, I'd like everyone to feel comfortable in both my space and both in my artwork and really in my life. It's something that is, I'm very much a believer in karmic energy, in terms of what we put out into the universe is kind of what we're going to receive back. This is my first residency. I was very kind of anxious to leave the comfort of my own space. I'm very comfortable. I like to feel welcome, and I felt like here in ArteriA was a very I feel like I've been welcomed like this has been my home. And just like if I were in my home, I'd be helping out and being part of it. And I think that is something very challenging in today's gallery world, where a lot of times the gallery feels like they're doing you this, you have to worship them and thank them for, putting my work on your walls, and kind of forgetting that we're the artists that are creating, or we're the ones that are putting this, allowing, this dialogue to happen between people that are coming to view the work. But it's a multiple, there's 3 different parts that have to happen in order for someone to see work. There has to be the artist, there has to be the gallerist that's open to showing and sharing that work, and then there's obviously the viewer. And if you don't have, and I feel like the more parts of that where people align, where the artist has good intentions, the gallerist has good intentions, that's hopefully going to create a situation where the viewers are going to have a positive experience. And being here for 2 different openings, that's exactly the energy that I saw, that people kind of were responsive to that. And I feel like there's an openness both in the show that I was participating in artistically as well as musically. That's gonna come up in the show, in the opening, or when the work is viewed, where they're invited. And there is a big difference, because there are situations where it's not that type of situation, where the gallerist kind of feels like they're doing a favor to both the artist as well as to the viewers. Larry, you've been incredibly supportive. Everyone's been really supportive, and I think that's what creates that environment to be able to produce work. And I feel like I've been very productive here, and I was, excited and looking forward to working every day, and hopefully it shows in the work.
You produced lots of artworks while you were here. We have 13 artworks, you said, and I see also around us. How fast are you in producing these artworks?
I'll spend, usually, what I do is I kind of try to work up something quickly with oil pastel sticks, and kind of work out basic compositional issues, and then just start kind of laying in blocks of color to really kind of get a feeling and see how the work resonates with each other. And there's also a certain degree of that I want all of the work itself to be coherent with each other. Like, this work is, again, as I shared before, is unique. The palette that I'm using here is unique to what I've done, let's say, in the past, and probably won't happen again where I work somewhere else. It's something that I kind of really picked up and evolved and developed while I was here, because that's what I felt when I was here. And it's
one of the painting that you produced, that is the view from inside to the outside when you are inside ArteriA, and it's very familiar to me. But I was impressed with how fast you could paint and capture the exact shape of the street and the lights and the...
That's our food. Meaning we think we could just live on, bread and water, but it doesn't really work like that. We really need to have higher influences, higher impressions. And I've eaten art and music all of my life, and I feel like that's my diet. That's what I need. And a day without artwork and a day without music, it's really just kind of feels like an empty day to me. A day where I don't get to put a brush against a canvas.
What music means to you?
I almost see them as, the different senses of the 5 fingers of the hand. They all make up the hand, but we kind of survive with the audio, the visual, the textural, the taste, and the touch. And that's why most of my work, hopefully, if it's being done the way I would like it to be, kind of incorporates all those elements, so that there should be almost, when you see the work, you should hear something. The experience, synesthesia, where there's a crossover between the different senses. That's something that's integral to my work, and the music that I make, that too, I wanted to kind of experience as many of those 5 senses. It's a very sensual kind of approach. The music that I create is really kind of meant to induce a certain state of mind, to make one more open to being able to contemplate the work. And I feel like that if music or art or whatever it is done right, I mean, that's probably a relative term, but for me, what I find music or that hits me the most is something that makes me go internal, makes me kind of feel something. How does the work make me feel is really the question, not how does work make you think. Like, yeah, that's important, you know. And there's work that's much more intellectual, much more dealing with social causes. That's not really kind of something that I'm really looking for. For me, is how does this work make me connect to the universe, make me think of the bigger picture, make me think of my fellow human beings, make me kind of think outside of myself, kind of a little less ego, you know, even if it's a short period of time, that it's something more, a greater whole, that it's, you could kind of see that in a more universal sense.
Fantastic, because Arteria is the society we would like to see, right? We approach to artists the way we want everyone to approach to everyone, right? And it's not easy to see that in the world, but it's a fight, let's say, that we have to constantly, you know, it's a type of energy we constantly have to put in the universe. And with you, I experience personally a lot of synchronicity, which is something very important for people that know about energy and spirituality. Is something important that always give like a signal that you are on the right path. We share almost the same birthday date. Me the 25th, you the 26th of May, and we have a common path, you know, even if in a two different geography in the world, very different, but there is something that it's very common, and you can see that. And you opened 3 months ago a gallery in New York.
Yes.
As I open a gallery in Barcelona, and I want to ask you, Botanical Grove, this is the name of your gallery, where you want to bring your gallery in the future, and why you opened a gallery in New York, which I assume and I know, so it's a very saturated market for contemporary art. So where you want to put your gallery in the market? So
Botanical Grove is really something, is a byproduct of, again, my kind of philosophy in terms of bringing art, music, experience is really experiential moments is really kind of what I'm trying to focus on. We don't just do even artwork, there's music, there's comedy, there's spoken word, there's all different kind of things are part of this. It's really trying to address the human experience and how we could kind of, how art, music, all these things together could really kind of change and evolve us, and we could open ourselves up to a greater experience where a lot of times the artwork is seen a very hermetically sealed container, like perfectly, everything perfect, and it kind of takes us away from feeling comfortable enough where we're kind of scared to approach the work. It's very, don't look, don't touch, don't go too close, don't. And just trying to make it a more open experience, like please engage with the work, please get close, please, experience the work and experience yourself. And I've gotten just incredible feedback from people that have come to the shows, that it's unlike any, other shows that they've been to, and that they kind of felt like they were almost at home. And I don't think artwork should feel like it's this kind of, up in this ivory tower and you could look at it for 30 seconds and then move along. It should be something where you feel like it's part of your being and it's part of your home, and it's personable and it's connectable. That's so nice. I love this word. I didn't ask you about bioregenerative aesthetic. Bioregenerative aesthetics. Kind of an idea that, again, similar with the chromotherapy and this idea that sound and visual, something that's intentfully done and consciously done could create a healing within a person. And I feel also very connected with plants, plant life and organic matter. And again, it could be something I could be out of my mind a little bit, but at least I believe it, that plants communicate with us, and everything kind of, if we're open to it, everything kind of does communicate with us. And I feel like that we can learn so much, from nature and from organic. And just on a last kind of note, the work of Gaudí in this area, it felt like it was like he was a prophet, and I think he was very much into the similar idea with this bioregenerative aesthetics. I'm not sure if he actually called what he called it, but the idea that we can learn so much about ourselves and about the universe by just really looking, looking at the patterns in nature, looking at the patterns in crystals, looking at these patterns, that will heal us. And I think that has a really strong healing power to it. And I think the more we're open to that, and the more we kind of, I don't necessarily believe in it, but kind of be open at least to the experience that work, artwork that's done with intent could really change a person. So, yeah, thank you for giving me the space to share, these ideas and feelings.
We're really looking forward for you to come back, stay at least 1 year in Barcelona and work with us. I will make you find a gallery full of plants for that moment, like a greenhouse.
Perfect. I think that's conducive.